Family Tour Guide to the World. Hey, my name is Lucy Justine Shepline-Leff.
And she is our announcer here on Family Tour Guide to the World. That was Lucy. My name is Ben Leff. I'm the dad.
And my name is Theo Shepline-Leff. I am the host of this show.
Yeah, along with me. I'm also a host.
Yeah, he's my co-host.
Yeah, and then we have Lucy, the announcer.
Every episode, it's going to be alternating from Ben Leff and Melissa Shepline for who's going to be my co-host.
Yep. So
Lucy, every single time, is going to be the announcer.
Very nice. And so the premise of the show we want to explain. Right, we are the family tour guide to the world, and we tell people about great places. And for our opening season,
we're doing Hawaii.
We're doing Hawaii, which is just an amazing place to visit. So here's what's happening here. We're on a family trip, and we are going to different islands of Hawaii. We are starting on Oahu, which is where the Hawaiian capital of Honolulu is. And our first episode is about what we've been doing on Oahu. Then we're going to the Big Island for several days to check out nature there. And then we will close with a couple days on Maui. And so we'll be doing podcast episodes throughout our trip. And again, we're starting on Oahu. Let's learn about our opening days on Oahu. We're going to have 4 categories tonight. There is going to be a nature category, an activity category, a history category, and a food critic category. And in each case, Theo and then me is going to explain something we really like in Hawaii for that category. And before I say anything else, I'll also say there might be some surprises in the middle of the episode, right? We don't know what's going to happen.
We can't tell you anything.
Yep, there might be some surprises.
See my voice crack.
You're all good. Our first category, talking about Hawaii, helping people understand what it's like to visit a place like this. Our first category is nature. Hawaii is a beautiful place. Theo, what is the thing we have done so far that's the most beautiful example of nature?
So what I chose for my nature category is Diamond Head State Park. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's state or national, but it's a beautiful park. Go on about Diamond Head.
And it is a crater that was made by a volcano 300,000 years ago. And it's on the southern coast of Oahu.
Yeah.
40-mile. It's a 40-minute bus ride from central Honolulu.
Yeah, we took the bus. We were trying to be economical. And when we got there, Theo, what did we have to do?
Walk about 15 minutes just to get to the front office.
That's true. 15 minutes before the hike even really started. And then when we did, what did we do after that?
Have a really fun hike.
You have a really fun hike. He's making it sound very good. There was probably a little more complaining.
From Lucy.
For both.
Yeah.
But I will say they were both troopers. And we were going, it was a 1.6 mile hike, but you're going very steeply up. And what are some of the things that make it great nature? What did you see that was so cool?
Basically, where it is, on the side of the mountain, technically on the side of the crater that we're on, eventually we overlook the ocean, which was really pretty, so we got to see all the landscaping and, all the ocean and...
Just beautiful colors.
Yeah, it was just a beautiful place. And the hike actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
There's a few steep parts, but other than that, it was pretty good, actually.
There were some cool tunnels, and I think overlooking the crater, which is where the volcano exploded, is really beautiful. One thing, just as an interesting story, just quickly want to say before moving on, something, I think the person's okay, but something kind of sad happened. What happened?
A person, while we were at the top, passed out of dehydration.
Yeah.
That was pretty
And so what did
scary.
they have to do?
They had to bring... I'm not surprised that they have this, but they have a helicopter pad, I don't know, probably about 50 feet away from where the person collapsed.
Yeah, and so they actually sent up a helicopter, which is pretty wild. All right. One more thing.
Basically, one cool fact about it is that For a while, Diamond Head was used as a military base because it would overlook the ocean for possible sea attacks.
Yeah.
And it also was a great spot for spotting planes and shooting down planes. So the reason that was really convenient is that it is like very close to Pearl Harbor, which we'll talk about later in the video.
Yeah, and it's a great place to view things. So one, I am clearly not ready for our first episode because I forgot to ask our announcer to introduce the category. So we'll do it halfway through. Our first category is
Nature.
Thank you so much, Announcer Lucy. So I'll just say one thing about nature. We're going to see a lot of awesome things with this trip. The thing I must mention is just like the environment of Hawaii is so beautiful.
I know, it's like so
and
warm.
It's always so warm, but not too hot.
Yeah.
And so to give you a sense of what it's like, so the high for today, Saturday, July 12th, 82. Tomorrow the high, 81. Next day, 81. Next day, 80. Next day, 81. Next day, 83. Just like always the same temperature. It's so beautiful. There's also always these steady winds coming from the northeast called the trade winds, right? And they always give a nice breeze. And it just makes every day so pleasant.
Yeah.
Even when there was like a brief drizzle, the drizzle felt really good.
Yeah.
It was great. Cool. So we're going to move on to our second category. And our second category is
Activities.
Thank you so much. So we're going to each briefly talk about an activity we've done. That was really cool. Theo, you can start it again. What's the activity you want to talk about?
So something that I find really fun and cool is that every week at the Hilton Resort in Honolulu, there is a 10-minute fireworks display. And it's something that I really recommend seeing. And it's not like something that you can only see from the hotel. It's something that you can see from like a 10-minute walk away. At least that's where me and Ben were at the hotel to see it.
It's dad to you, by the way. No, I'm kidding.
But Melissa and Lucy were at our hotel to watch, and they watched it from the pool, which was pretty cool. But I imagine that you could probably see it from like quite a bit away.
Yeah, and we walked very close. What was it like to be super close to it?
For the first time, it was like there wasn't like a big lag from like the fireworks, like the sound. That was really weird for me actually, because I'm used to like seeing it and then like 5 seconds later hearing the of it. Like that was really cool.
Yeah, no, and I have to say, and related to that, like you really felt like the fireworks were right in front of you. And even though we've seen some great fireworks shows, being that close and then seeing it over the ocean, you could I was looking, you could see the reflection of the fireworks in the ocean was very, very cool.
Yeah.
So for my activity, I wanted to talk about just like swimming in the ocean. So one of the first things that we did when we got here was we wanted to go to the ocean. And it was just beautiful and like pretty calm with some soft waves, but it was just like, I don't know. There's something really nice to me about swimming and feeling those waves against you. It's just so relaxing. And so you also can build stuff in the sand, which is something Lucy did. What did you build, Announcer Lucy?
I was trying to make a sandcastle, and I was trying to make like another thing that's kind of like a sandcastle.
And didn't you try to make a volcano, Theo?
Yeah, so I attempted and succeeded to build a volcano. It actually looked pretty good. And I tried to sculpt a bit of the top of, what's it called?
Diamond Head?
Diamond Head. Yeah. Which is a very kind of top, actually. There's like these two spikes, and then there's a dip on one side, which I find is really cool. And then I also tried to construct a mermaid tail.
Nice. Well,
that was
before moving on, though, on the topic of volcanoes, we have a special surprise. We're going to play a game called
Oldest to Newest.
Oldest to Newest. No, with love for a show we like called... Yeah. So, with love to a show that we really like called Forever Ago, they play a game called First Things First. We're going to call it Oldest to Newest. I'm going to give Lucy
we don't get sued.
Yeah, we don't want to get sued by Joy Dolo, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to give a series of islands, and you're going to tell me which exploded out of the ocean
Can't see the answer.
first, the oldest, then the middle, then the newest. And so a reminder about how Hawaii was formed. These are volcanic islands, basically volcanic explosions, which eventually cooled and hardened the water, became these islands, and it happened in a certain order. So I'm going to give you three islands we are visiting on this trip. And I will give the answers, but each of you, Theo and Lucy, are going to have to guess oldest to newest. So the three islands are Oahu, the Big Island, and Maui. Oahu, which is where we are now, the Big Island, and Maui. Which do you think is the oldest? Which is the middle? Which is the newest? Theo, you go first and tell us why.
Firstly, I highly encourage you to play this at home.
Yep.
It's supposed to be very fun.
Yep, try it yourself.
But it will announce the answers at the end of the episode.
Yep.
But I think that newest. I think I have to go with. I'm gonna go Oahu.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna go Big Island, and then as the oldest, I'm gonna do Maui.
So Maui, Big Island, Oahu. Can you give me a little about why you chose that?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, it just seems so hard. It's not like there's any thing that could help support me.
Yeah.
But it's I feel like there's the most civilization on Oahu, so it kind of makes me feel like it's the newest.
Interesting.
Although I'm almost certainly positive that I'm wrong.
It's tough to guess. Lucy, what do you think is the oldest? Maui, the Big Island, or Oahu?
I would go maybe Maui,
Okay.
Oahu, Big Island.
Oh, so it's a little different. No, it's fine. So it sounds like you both agree Maui's the oldest, but Lucy thinks then it's Oahu, and then the newest is the Big Island. Do you have any idea why you picked that, Lucy?
No.
Okay, good. Not at all. That's fine. So we now have the guesses. I hope you were guessing at home. We will come back at the end of the episode to reveal the big answer. But next, we need to go to something I think appropriate for what we've been discussing. The next category is
History.
History. But one thing on this trip is we've been trying to go to historical sites because I don't know if the people at-home audience
really fun.
knows that, both me and my wife Melissa, you'll meet in the next episode, are history teachers. So, Theo, what's the history that you learned about in this trip that you want to share with our audience?
So, yesterday we went to a monument and war grave of something that happened on December 7th, 1941.
A day that'll live in infamy. Yep.
Yeah, according to President
Roosevelt.
The second President Roosevelt.
Sure.
And that is Pearl Harbor. So what happened during Pearl Harbor is that there was these Japanese planes that came in and bombed, shot down, and torpedoed a lot of American ships, and it killed over 2,400 Americans.
Yeah.
And
why is this event so important?
Because it was the date of when the United States of America joined World War II, the most deadly war ever known to mankind.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And so there's a museum about it. We watched a movie about it.
Well, 23 minutes.
Yeah, and then
So-
we saw some museums. But then the other thing we visited was what, Theo?
The monument.
Yeah, which is the USS Arizona. And kind of tell me how
So-
the monument worked.
You took a little ferry boat out to this little white platform, I would say, that was put basically at the 1/3 mark. Well, like if you go from the back to the front and you start at the back with 0, it would be basically at the 1/3 mark.
Yeah,
of
to
the
be
boat.
clear, the ship is
Oh, yeah.
under
Oh,
the water.
yeah.
And they
And-
built the monument kind of across it,
Yeah.
perpendicular. Yeah.
So, and it was across the USS Arizona, and you can see parts of the boat, but you can but there's this aerial shot that we've seen where it's just you can see the whole boat. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And there were over, I think, was it 800 or 1,000?
Yeah, it might have been over 1,000.
There was over 1,000 men who were on the USS Arizona when it got struck. And it got struck by armor-piercing bomb, which made it all the way to the 5th lower deck. And it got to a bunch of ammunition powder, and it just completely exploded the bottom of the boat, the center of the boat, and it just sank instantly.
Yeah, and
there was no chance for anybody inside to get out.
yeah, and so they died, and so the grave of the ship still lies, at the bottom of the water. Though little bits go above the water, and so that was kind of interesting. You could actually see little bits coming out of the water. There was also kind of a hole in the floor of the monument where you could look down and see the ship. And I thought it was both strangely beautiful, like the monument in the water, but also really sad. It's the resting place of all these soldiers. And the other thing, it listed the name of all the Marines and naval soldiers who
sailors and soldiers.
Thank you.
Who were just anybody that died during the attack of Pearl Harbor.
And one thing I found really interesting was actually that there were people who survived the attack, because actually some people did survive who were on the USS Arizona, but when they died 30 years later, 40 years later, of natural causes, they chose to be cremated and put at the bottom with the other soldiers who died in that attack, because they always felt connected to those people, which I thought was interesting.
One thing that I find kind of absurd is that when the Japanese decided to do this, the person that came up with the plan to do it thought that when they did this, they wouldn't cause a war, which I find pretty absurd.
Yeah.
Oh, and the cause of this, which is really important to why they did this, was basically Japan was attacking, conquering a lot of Southeast Asia, and the U.S. basically said, all right, if you're going to do this, we're not going to send you any more oil, because in Japan, basically
they conquered pretty brutally.
They conquered pretty brutally, but the important part is that they don't manufacture oil in Japan. So it was very hard for them to do that. And the U.S. also sent a note to other countries, like a letter, saying, don't give your oil to Japan.
Yeah. And so they kind of, they attacked the fleet of the U.S., so we wouldn't stop them from attacking more of Southeast Asia. And I'll resist the urge to tell you more about the history of Pearl Harbor like a U.S. history teacher and move on to our other history topic, which is we visited the neighborhood in Honolulu called Chinatown. So I'll just say one super interesting thing about Hawaii is that it's such a diverse population in history. So you have the native Hawaiians, you have British and Americans who came, you have you have eventually a lot of Chinese and Japanese folks who came, and then of all other races. But certainly the Chinatown in Honolulu dates back to the 19th century when a lot of Chinese people came over as laborers to work in the sugar fields. Basically, a lot of people of European descent set up sugar plantations in Hawaii, and they needed lots and lots of labor, so they brought in a lot of Chinese men in particular. And so a lot of those folks worked in the field, but there needed to be places for those folks to live and those folks to shop, and eventually people of Chinese descent came and started businesses. And so this neighborhood goes back well over 100 years. It has a long history. Eventually, people from other Asian countries came in part because the U.S. banned new Chinese migration. So eventually Japanese, Vietnamese, Filipino folks moved into this neighborhood. And we were able to walk around. We were able to see some, small businesses. There were like 6 different flour and lei making places there. There were all different restaurants.
You could find a flour and lei place on every block.
Yeah, all over the place. And there were just a lot of old buildings that, with the names of Chinese. And I saw actually one with a Japanese name dating back over 100 years. So anyway, it's a cool part of the city's history we were able to see.
One thing.
Yeah, one thing.
So about them working in sugar fields, is that they would work there and they would get paid very little in American money.
Yeah, that's good.
But when they went back to their country, American money, if you turn it in, even the little amounts, is worth a lot. And it's very valuable.
Yep. No, I think that was why a lot of young men were doing it to support their family, even though in many ways they were being exploited pretty badly. All right, we have one final category to go. And so, announcer, we need our final category. It is...
Food
critic.
Food critic. Can you go yum yum? No, Lucy, our announcer, won't say yum yum. So
I'll say yum yum.
We've been eating very well on this trip, and we wanted to highlight a couple of foods we had. So Theo, you're gonna do this one. Tell us about shaved ice.
So shaved ice originated in the early 1900s in Hawaii, and if you're listening to this and you have like a local Kona ice truck. At least that's what we have in Urbana, but I've seen it in other states.
Different places.
We're from Illinois, by the way. Right by the university, like the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's basically shaved ice. Basically originated in Hawaii, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know all the history.
But basically, it was brought. When Japanese laborers came to America to work in sugar fields, and it was like a special treat for them. So when they would get their hands on ice, and usually I'm assuming like a knife or something, they would shave it, and then usually they would just eat it without flavoring. But I think flavoring was added a little bit later.
Yeah, it must involve the sugar, I bet, that they were, the sugar in pineapple fields. I'll talk about that in a sec, but yeah.
But the place that we went to was called Wing Ice Cream Parlor, which was very good. I would say the decorations were great.
A lot of, 70s rock.
Yeah, 70s rock. But it was delicious.
This was in Chinatown, by the way.
This was in Chinatown. And there was nothing bad about it. It was just good. And he was really nice, the owner.
Yeah. And there are all these kind of funky flavors. What did you get on your shaved ice? Maybe yours wasn't as funky.
I got strawberry and vanilla, which is kind of
yeah. Well, and Lucy, I remember we got ice cream. We actually, my wife Melissa and I, and we got Mayan chocolate. There was one that was blueberry and lavender. It was interesting flavors. Do you remember what you got, Lucy?
Something called yuzu and vanilla.
Yeah,
so yuzu is Japanese citrus, basically.
Yeah, yep. So anyway, it was interesting. We also got shaved ice from a local, another place in Honolulu. It's kind of classic, just it was rainbow flavored, so it had cherry and banana. It had those. Anyway, so it's very refreshing, and on a warm day, having flavored, yummy ice that eventually melted into a soup. A cold soup was pretty good. So the food I'll talk about, we had, it turns into a cold drink, Lucy says, and that's very good. So the food I'm going to talk about is on the first day, we're adjusting to the time change. I'm up early. I'm going to get the family something interesting, and I ran into basically this donut called malasada, and that apparently is like this Hawaiian donut that is eaten especially here. And we read into it, and it turned out like its origins are like in these Portuguese islands in the Atlantic, but Portuguese laborers, like the Chinese, came over to work in the sugar fields, and they brought in this kind of donut. And I think we decided it's kind of like a beignet. I feel like every culture has their fried dough.
It's like so there's part of it which is like flatter. Mm-hmm. That one isn't as much like a beignet.
Yeah,
I would say. But then there's like this smaller circular one.
Yeah, the circular one they called like a mochi malasada, because it kind of looks and like kind of has the texture of mochi. And I think it's safe to say you like the one better that was like a donut. It was like a nice sugar coated
Portuguese one
donut. It was very good. And so as you can see, we're experiencing various aspects of Hawaii on our trip and having a great time. So that brings us to the end. Lucy, can you announce that we need to bring back to oldest to newest?
Oldest to newest. We're gonna say the names of it and then
the answers.
Yeah.
And give the answers. So I'd say both of you did a tremendous job. As a reminder, Maui, Oahu, the Big Island. What order did they come in? Right, Lucy, you guys both agreed that Maui's the oldest, and you disagreed on whether after that Oahu and the Big Islands were newest. I'm going to tell you, you did great, but none of you got it exactly right. Yeah. One thing Lucy was exactly right about is that the Big Island is the newest. The Big Island is about 400,000 years old. It's the newest. Before that, Maui is about 1 million years old, give or take. And then Oahu is actually the oldest at 3 million years old. Now, if at home, podcast medium, not good for visuals, but if you at home can pull up a map, you can look at the Hawaiian Islands, and they kind of go from northwest to southeast. And if I understand correctly, it's a volcanic eruption. There's this hot spot at the bottom of the ocean sending up hot stuff. Yeah, and then the tectonic plate kind of moved over it over hundreds of thousands, millions of years, and as that hot spot therefore moved in relation to the tectonic plate,
oh my god, I have a moving internet.
Which is islands formed in different places, and so basically as we move from northwest to southeast on the map, we have a series of islands getting younger and younger, and there's actually a new island that's still under the surface that I was reading could erupt in thousands of years, but eventually could, and we could have a new Hawaiian island. So that would be pretty cool. So we'd like to thank you. This has been a really fun opening episode of Family. Really fun opening. What's the name of our show?
Family Tour Guide.
Wait, Lucy, announcer. What was it?
Family Tour Guide Back to the World. Hey, or whatever it's called. Family Tour Guide to the World.
Family Tour Guide to the World. We hope that's right. We'll check our audio to make sure we got it right. And then when we come back, we'll learn some more about our time on Oahu. So come back then and listen to our next episode.
Yeah, so yet again, this was Theo Shepline Live, Ben Live, and Lucy Justine Shepline Live.
All right, thank you for listening.
Season.